Hello, everyone. My name is Manolis Finarolakis, the founder of Reality Crowd TV, and welcome to the newest series on a weekly basis called Crowdfunding Office Hours. The purpose of Crowdfunding Office Hours is to help individuals who are interested in learning how to crowdfund through a manner that is similar to a university setting where you could ask any question you would like to an educator. In this series, we're really trying to help everyone, regardless of their knowledge level, regardless of whether they're running a campaign currently or thinking about running a campaign, or even if they just have any random questions about crowdfunding and how they can use it in their business or artistic endeavor. This came about because we've been receiving a lot of outreach from people through our various social media outlets, and they've been asking us for help, and we wish that we could help everyone on a hands-on basis whenever anyone asks us. So in order to answer that question of how do we help everyone, we decided to actually begin this educational platform called Crowdfunding Office Hours. So I'd like to initially thank our sponsors for this event. Our sponsors are the ones who are also helping promote this venture. And I'm going to share my screen so that I do not actually forget any of our wonderful sponsors. And I will begin by thanking. We have CrowdFundMe magazine, Frank Spalding and Kamini Gupta are the co-founders. Stella McGovern from crowdzoo.com, Chris Labonte and Nolan Thompson from headfunder.com, Peter Giordano from ultimatecrowdfunding.com, Success with Crowdfunding, which is an educational tool that is created by the Crowdfund Capital Advisors, Ruth Hedges, the creator of Crowdfunding Roadmap, Cindy Summerfield of karmacrowd.com, One Day Two Legends, which is a documentary film that is going to be crowdfunded shortly, Learn to Play Music, which is an Australian music company that helps people learn how to play music, Jay Moore from Romhurst Capital, and finally Patchaland, a real estate crowdfunding portal, patchaland.com. And so our sponsors are very important to us because they're joining in this effort to really spread the word and the mission of what we're trying to do here. So just a few other ground rules. I did post a live join link in the event page on Google Hangouts. So if you have a question, if you're someone who has a question on your campaign that's currently started or a campaign you're thinking of doing, you could join by looking at the event page on Google Hangouts and clicking the last post that was posted by Reality Crowd TV. Additionally, if you'd rather just watch, you will be able to submit questions through the Q&A application, and you can ask any question. Doesn't have to deal with what we're talking about today. So feel free to ask those questions as well. And finally, we'll be doing this on a weekly basis. So if you don't have a question this week, but you have one next week, you could always come back to watch. So we're lucky to have today a friend of mine who I met at an event that I spoke at. This is Wilton. And Wilton, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Wilton Baker. I'm the president of Hawthorne Real Estate Investment Corporation in Boston, Massachusetts.
Excellent, Wilton. Thank you for joining us. And what do you hope to learn today in general? What do you hope to get out of Crowdfunding Office Hours today?
I want to learn how to leverage crowdfunding in relation to how to raise money for deals that I have, partnering with other people, and really just how to leverage the whole social media networking platform for real estate.
Wonderful. I mean, you know, our last shows have really been real estate focused. So if you go check us out on YouTube, you'll get a lot of that information as well, as far as how you could possibly use it for your business. But I'm glad you joined today, Wilton. And if you have any questions now, I can answer them. Or I have a presentation. I have two presentations that I can give, and you might be able to ask questions. So one of them is called Crowdfunding, Financing Your Small Business, and the other one is called Social Media and Promoting Your Crowdfunding Campaign. And if I'm not mistaken, I know you asked me a question about social media previously, so would you like us to kind of start on that presentation?
Yeah, let's do that, please.
Okay, very good. We'll begin that, but before we begin there, I'd like to just play this video really quickly, which is a video from the White House explaining what crowdfunding is. And I think it's really one of the better ways to really introduce not only you, but any of the viewers online right now exactly what crowdfunding is, and a very simple way that you could explain it to anyone who would be interested in knowing what crowdfunding is. So let me share my screen once again, and we will go to a YouTube video, and I think you'll enjoy it. Do you see my screen?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, and so I'm going to let this young lady speak, and everyone, this is a video from the White House explaining what is crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding is a concept that's been around for a long time. It's the idea of passing around the basket at church in its oldest incarnation, of a large crowd of people being able to contribute small amounts, which in aggregate meet the financial goal of any organization, group, or individual. And so when you look at crowdfunding and how it's evolved, the reason it's become a buzzword recently is because it's gone online, and so the potential of it has expanded exponentially. The crowdfunding bill is important for small businesses because it creates access to capital that currently is very hard to come by. The basic concept of what this will mean for entrepreneurs and investors is that an entrepreneur will post a description, a very thorough description of their business, the finances, the business plan, what they're going to do with the money, the budget, etc., and they're going to be able to share this opportunity with anyone they so choose. Most likely it'll be their customers, friends and family, might be Twitter followers, people who share an affiliation with them that they think might be interested, etc. The investor will then pledge a certain amount of capital that they want to invest. If the fundraising goal is met for how much money that entrepreneur is looking for, then the money will transfer to the entrepreneur. So it's an all or nothing arrangement. What I hope that America will now see is that after the SEC rulemaking period is done on the crowdfunding bill approximately 9 months from now, and platforms can be created and launched that allow for crowdfunding, that entrepreneurs who currently feel like funding is a roadblock to them achieving their success can now have the opportunity to succeed. I strongly believe that crowdfunding is not just for high-tech businesses. I in fact think that the majority of people are going to be using this in the long run. The majority of businesses in the country are small businesses, and that's who can really take advantage of this.
Excellent. So, based on that, Wilton, what did you think of that video? Do you think that's a good explanation if you're really trying to learn what crowdfunding is?
That analogy of passing the plate at church really hits home. That's kind of funny because wife and family go to church, so I can just actually visualize passing the plate. That's really interesting, and I think it gives a very real dynamic to what you want to do as far as raising money for your business, and also. But one of the things another question I have is maybe what's the accountability? So you have people who want to donate and be a part of your business. How does the infrastructure work, and how do you make that work and make sure you're accountable to those who want to be a part?
Very excellent question, Wilton. So. Wilton, you're specifically talking about when someone invests through equity or debt crowdfunding. So you're talking specifically about what's happening as a result of the 2012 Jobs Act. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the way you're going to be accountable is by actually having to comply with a lot of rules and regulations that the oversight body is going to insist someone raising capital this way actually adhere to. So the Jobs Act is requiring anyone who raises money this way, meaning if you, Wilton, raise money for a real estate project and you have a corporation that you're going to raise money with, they're requiring you to register with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they're requiring you to have a business plan, to have a prospectus. You're almost going through a mini IPO without all of the regulation and cost of the IPO. And so you'll have regular reporting requirements. You're going to have to report on the progress of your project. You're going to have to ensure you have an accounting system. This won't be just cash under the table. You're going to have to account for everything and be a legitimate businessman and business in order to actually do this in the first place. So not only is this crowdfunding going to help businesses raise capital, but it's going to teach entrepreneurs how to run a business the way it should be run. I think a lot of people don't really have accounting systems. They kind of just have a little notebook and they write down, okay, I spent this much, I collected this much, this is my net cash flow. This is really going to require an entrepreneur to have a business in place. They're going to need to have a legitimate accounting system. They're going to have to be able to explain a lot of hard questions. They're going to have to be accountable to the investors who come in. Now, that may seem a little overwhelming. However, the bright side is you now do have a team of investors who believes in you, and these individual investors could potentially have contacts that they can help you get what you need to get done. So think of it this way. I wouldn't think of it as, man, now I have investors that I'm going to have to deal with. How am I going to, they're going to be a pain in the neck. That's the wrong way to look at it. I would look at it in the sense of I now have 5 or 6 investors who could potentially be helping me and my business get more business. Does that make sense?
Actually, it makes a lot of sense, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a team of great investors. I have people on my board right now. I have a business plan. I have an accounting system. I have other systems. That's my background: project management and an MBA, finance. So those are the things that that works perfectly for me. I don't mind being accountable to experts or those who are investing in my company and say, hey, if we invest in your company, we want to make sure you're handling everything in the right manner. So that's not a big deal. I think it makes sense.
It does, and in a way, it eliminates a lot of the fears that are out there that there could be fraud in this industry, right? I mean, that's always something that people mention, but if someone's going to commit fraud, there's much easier ways to do it than trying to go through all this Securities and Exchange Commission compliance, right? I mean, the amount of compliance necessary to create a legitimate business that will be allowed to crowdfund is rather high, so no one would go through, or very few would go through that whole burden and cost in order to do that. I mean, and by the way, I mean, there's fraud in the public markets as well. So I mean, if someone's going to be a criminal, they're going to do it no matter what.
Right. Right.
And so, but it's exciting to me because the excitement around crowdfunding is really bringing up a whole new movement in startups. It's really, you don't have to be a tech company to be known as a startup. I mean, Wilton, you should consider yourself a startup. You should embrace that culture. And you are now a startup because you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to find a way to take your business to the next level, and you're exploring crowdfunding as a potential option.
Exactly. I am a startup. And it's interesting, my background has been with startups in some way, whether it be with a nonprofit organization, whether it be with with a candidate on a political arena, administration, or start helping an executive start a new insurance agency. So I've been around that whole culture of startups. It seems like I'm always working with a startup. Now I'm doing my own, and it's exciting. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's great, and I'm embracing it. I'm doing exactly what you're saying. I'm embracing it.
Wonderful, Wilton. I'm excited for you. Very good. So I'm gonna head back to the presentation, and then as I mentioned, if anyone in the audience has a question, just feel free to ask it through the question and answer application. You have to follow Reality Crowd TV, the circle, before you'll be able to do that. And so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go through a presentation called Social Media and Promoting Your Crowdfunding Campaign. And so do you see my screen, Wilton?
Yep, I see it.
Wonderful. So we'll go through this. This actual presentation was given at the University of Hartford, and it lasted 2 hours, but I'm not going to go into that level of detail because we have a lot to go through today. So I'm really going to skip through a lot of these things that are not as important, just for the sake of time. So, as I mentioned, my name is Manolis. I'm the founder of Reality Crowd TV Media Corp. I'm a member of the Professional Crowdfunding Association, the Crowdfund Regulatory Advocates, and the National Crowdfund Association. Our program has given. Oh, I think I heard someone. Is there someone on the line? Oh, I'm sorry. That was for you, Milton. Apologize for that. And so, in this case here, I used to be an accountant, and I used to be an auditor for the Hartford. So just a brief introduction to me. I've already showed the video. This is one of my most exciting infographics here, and I'm really going to take this opportunity to share with you, Wilton, and the viewership. Right now, at the end of 2013, crowdfunding raised $5.1 billion globally. Compare that to really the first year that crowdfunding came out, which was back in 2009. 2009 only had $1 billion globally. 2013 is now $5 billion a year globally. So it's really exploding how quick this is happening. Entrepreneur Magazine recently released an article that said crowdfunding is actually raising $60,000 an hour right now. Back in November of 2013, the World Bank released a report, and it estimated that in 20 years, crowdfunding is going to be a $90 billion a year industry. UC Berkeley College, one of the only universities that has really a crowdfunding research arm, had released another report, and this isn't how it's going to be right off the bat. It's going to take a while for people to learn about crowdfunding, but they estimate that eventually the U.S. market size could potentially grow to $300 billion for equity crowdfunding. So the opportunity is large, and it's very exciting. So going back to the presentation, there is a process that every crowdfunding campaign goes through. This particular presentation is focused on step number 3 of the 9 stages of crowdfunding. So this is really focused on social media. But just to give an overview, every crowdfunding campaign goes through 9 stages. It starts with a business plan. It goes to protecting your intellectual property if you have anything that needs protecting. Step 3 is the social media plan. 4 is your PR strategy. 5 is your campaign strategy. How are you going to get the word out about yourself? 6 is networking and team building, because ultimately you alone can't get a crowdfunding campaign done unless you're a celebrity with millions of followers. You're going to need to find a way to network and build a team around your idea. The next step would be website development. You want to make sure that you have a website that you're building up to inform everybody and act as the glue of your campaign. The next step is your profile and video, making sure you have a compelling profile and an expertly made video. And then finally, it's fulfillment. So, you know, in fulfillment with the rewards-based model, the Kickstarter Indiegogo model, if you're a product-based company, then you really need to have all of your ducks in a row as far as your manufacturing costs are concerned. But if you're a real estate company and doing equity, then your fulfillment becomes making sure your investors get paid. And that's another challenge in itself. So moving on to this, you really need to develop your social media strategy, and it all begins with what I call 3 questions that you must ask yourself in order to know your market and know your target audience. So the first step is, and I'm going to ask you, Wilton, I'm going to put you on the spot in a moment, but the first step is, why should anyone care about what you're doing? Why should anyone care about your project? And that essentially is your pitch. What is your pitch? Why should anyone other than you care about your project? The next question you need to determine is, now that you know your why, who is the individuals who would care about that why? You wouldn't want to sell ice to an Eskimo because they have plenty of ice. But you want to focus your attention on people that would care about your why, which is the question of who is your target customer. And finally, when you figure out who your target customer is, the next important question is, where does this person who cares about my why congregate? Where are the networks that they spend time at? Where are the events that I should attend in order to get my message out to my target market? So I'm going to pause here for a moment, and I'm going to come back to you, Wilton, and I'm going to ask you that question. Who is your target market? Well, actually, first, why should anyone care about your project? Let me put that on you. And no problem if you haven't thought of it yet, but just try to do it right now on the spot.
Well, I'm a real estate investment company, so it's a bit different. I don't have a per se product to sell, but I do have projects that I work on. So a customer could be an investor who wants to earn, you know, 10 to 12% partner on the deal and earn 10 to 12% on their investment. And it's a very tangible asset. Real estate is a very tangible and great means of generating wealth in this country, has been for centuries, globally, that is. So why should anyone care? That's a reason to care. Then also, you know, for someone who wants to sell their property or who wants to, dispose of their property, you know, I'm a person they can come to and talk to, and I can negotiate a deal with them and make that happen. Now, why should someone care? I think that, you know, within there's many areas within the United States, also globally, that there are communities that are in transition, and investors have come in to either rehab some communities or rehab houses or commercial buildings and start making that community viable again and increase the value of their properties. And also it provides jobs, because, you know, if I see a house or there's a commercial property that I would like to rehab or increase the value, I'm going to hire, you know, a general contractor. I'm going to hire people in the community to do contracting labor. So, you know, I'm helping the economy. And where do they congregate? So you have different people. You have investors. You have people who want to dispose of their properties, people who want to just kind of sit by on the sidelines and invest in properties. They congregate all over the internet. They congregate, you know, physically, you know, they're in different places. You know, you go to real estate meetups or real estate associations, but they're on different websites within the internet, and they're always searching the internet looking for opportunities. And so I have to make sure I target my advertising, my marketing, my PR, and everything for those type of, I guess, keywords. So they can come to my website and see what I have going on.
Wilton, you're brilliant. I mean, you hit it on the head. You basically know what you need to do, and your whys for your target market is correct. For your market, they're not so much socially motivated. They're more motivated by the details of the deal. What is my return on investment? Who are you? Why should I trust you to be the guy who is going to get me that return on investment? So I think you understand your industry, which is the real estate industry, very well. And then the question of where they congregate, you're right. They are all over the internet, specifically at the keywords you mentioned. But there are also certain social networks that potentially could be geared towards real estate investors as well. So I'm going to go into that actually in a moment. So we'll head back to our presentation. But that was actually, for being put on the spot, that you know exactly what you need.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'll put this back here, then I'll share this screen and go back to the presentation. So examples of where you have LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn is really a great place for you specifically, Wilton, because there's real estate groups everywhere on LinkedIn. You could type in a group search and search for real estate, and you'll find some groups that have hundreds of thousands of members who are all interested in real estate. So I mean, that's probably your best option in for real estate. You have Facebook. You have Facebook fan pages, but also Facebook groups that also are focused on real estate. You know, although this is not necessarily the most nice way to find your target market, you could look at your competitors and say, where are their investors? You know, does my competitor have a group? Is there a way I could build relationships with people that I know are currently investing with the competitor? Google Plus has a lot of communities, which is also a great place to consider. And if you're actually running a Kickstarter campaign, this is a really great website to go to. BackersHub.com is a syndicate of Kickstarter backers, and I randomly ran into these guys online, and what they do is, in order to be part of this exclusive group that they have on Facebook and be able to see all these deals, you have to have at least backed 20 Kickstarter campaigns in order to even join. So their membership is highly active individuals who always donate to Kickstarter campaigns, and one guy I think on their group has the record. He's donated to over 450 different campaigns. So it's kind of like a race to see who can donate the most, which is kind of funny. Forums, Kickstarter forum, but also real estate forums like biggerpockets.com. For you, Wilton, if you haven't checked out biggerpockets.com,
I'm a member.
Good.
I'm a corporate member of Bigger Pockets. So yeah, I check with them almost every day.
Perfect. They're definitely a great network for you. The hashtags, and then just the ecosystem around real estate or around crowdfunding. There's crowdfunding events. There's real estate investor association meetings. You want to find what your specific industry is and cater that to exactly what you're going to try to crowdfund. In fact, for you, Wilton, I actually think that real estate investor association meetings, these people are willing to pay thousands of dollars for a guru material when they probably should be investing in real estate, and crowdfunding is going to be a way for them to actually buy something of value that is actually an income-earning asset. So that could be a huge place for you. Oh, it looks like we have a new gentleman to join us. Frank, how's it going, my friend?
Another beautiful day in paradise. How about you?
Doing very well. I'd like you to meet Wilton. I met Wilton at MIT during a presentation, and Wilton is a real estate investor looking to use crowdfunding for real estate, and Frank is the co-founder and CEO of CrowdFundMe magazine, the magazine for crowdfunding.
How you doing,
nice to meet you, Frank.
Good to see you. Picked a good sector to get into.
Oh, absolutely. Real estate's going to be huge. Real estate is huge.
Yes.
So, Frank, can you just introduce yourself actually a little bit more now that you joined? Just tell us about yourself and then tell us about the magazine.
Sure thing. About me, I'm a serial startup junkie. I've successfully started at a lot of companies. Some of them, startups, some of them have actually turned into companies and been sold profitably. Some of them have failed miserably. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, both happen. Beyond that, my latest venture is Crowdfunding magazine. It started out as a different idea a while ago, which happens with startups. I eventually found my co-founder through Co-Founders Lab. She found me, I should say, Kemi Gupta, and it has evolved into a magazine that is taking off like wildfire, and we're also getting ready to start our own crowdfunding campaign.
Wonderful. So this is good. So you guys are going to run a crowdfunding campaign. Are you thinking of doing a rewards-based campaign for the magazine?
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Okay, cool.
Not a big fan of rewards-based for something like this. This is, I think, a better for an equity platform, but that's going to take some work. So we're reaching out to a few different companies that do currently provide equity-related services.
Very interesting. Good. This is going to be good, Frank.
Yes.
All right. Do either of you have any questions right now, or should I go back to the presentation?
Yeah, continue. I'm interested in learning more about what Wilton has going on here.
Perfect. All right. I'll share my screen again. Assuming that my okay, there we go. All right. So now, Wilton, if you don't use one of these social media dashboards yet, I think you're going to be the happiest guy in the world after what you learn here. A social media dashboard is essentially one place that sends multiple messages out to all the social networks that you have connected to it. So a lot of people might have 5 different accounts per se, and currently they've never heard of a social media dashboard. So if they want to post something on Facebook, they go to Facebook and post. On Twitter, they go to Twitter and post. On LinkedIn, they go to LinkedIn, and vice versa. A social media dashboard is a tool that allows you to connect all of your social media sites, use the dashboard as the primary place where you post your content, and one post will be broadcast to 5 different sites instead of going to each one individually. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and I've never heard of it. This is the first time, and you're right. I would definitely use this because one of the things I do, I blog from time to time, and I probably need to do more of that. And so I have LinkedIn, Facebook page, LinkedIn page for the business. I have Google Plus. I have a Twitter account. I think I have pretty much every platform. And so I need something to kind of pretty much put all of that under one umbrella, press a button, and send it all out, and that'd be great.
Well, today's your lucky day. Then this is a this company is called Hootsuite, and I'm going to do a demonstration in a moment. But you get 5 accounts for free. You could connect up to 5 accounts at no cost. If you want to, do anything more than 5, let's say you have 20 accounts, then all it costs is $10 a month. But if you just have 5 accounts you want to start with just to get the hang of it before you go hog wild, so to speak,
right.
This would be the best way. So let me just perform a demonstration. And I'm actually going to log into my Hootsuite account, and I have a bunch of different accounts here. So what you do is you have to download, or rather you have to sign in with one of your social networks at hootsuite.com. And then you go through a process of adding a social network, which is the buttons that you see here, and you could add streams here. For the sake of time, it's very intuitive. You'll be able to figure it out yourself, exactly how to actually set it up. But I just want to show you what I mean by one message to multiple accounts. So I'm going to just do a message across Twitter, and I'm going to send it to my personal account, my CEO's account. By the way, I pretend that I'm Jessica Sun sometimes, which is kind of funny. I have to think like a girl, I guess. And then my Reality Crowd TV Twitter account. Now, Frank, Crowdfund Me Magazine's, your handle is Crowdfund Me, right?
Yep.
And what is your Twitter handle, Wilton?
Hawthorne. Oh man, I forgot my Twitter. Man, I feel embarrassed now.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Hawthorne, R-E-I-C.
Hawthorne.
Yep, R-E-I-C.
R-E-I-C. Okay. Is live Reality Crowd TV a reality series? And what I'm going to do is I am going to connect the live link to YouTube as the link I want to post for all these people to see what's about to happen here. So I'm going to add the link, shrink it, and actually if both Frank and Wilton, if both of you could be on social media so that when you get the notification, just retweet this if you could, so that you see that this will actually go out to everybody. So I'm going to send now. And what you should have just received across your social networks is the fact that I just sent out a Twitter message to multiple through multiple accounts. And as you can see here, Reality Crowd TV just announced it, so I'm retweeting it. Jessica just announced it, I'm retweeting it. And basically, as you can see, one message to multiple accounts is a very powerful and very good way to save a lot of time and effort. So I also see that Crowdfund Me just retweeted it as well. So this is the type of thing that would save you a lot of time. Wouldn't you agree, Wilton?
Yes, and I just received some tweets because of that. All right.
Great. So
I'm looking at my smartphone and things are coming up. So yeah.
Great. So that's in a nutshell, that is Hootsuite. It really just allows you to not only post content to multiple accounts. You could schedule it for like 30 days in advance. You could do like 30 days worth of tweets so that you don't have to check it out constantly. And you could really just communicate very clearly among multiple platforms. So it really is a great tool. There's other tools, and I think this one is also very important to demonstrate. And Frank, if you and Camney are not using this yet, you guys need to get on this for Twitter. This is Just Unfollow, which is just an amazing tool it's Twitter specific, and what it does is you connect your Twitter accounts to it, and you could decide to see how many people are not following you currently, how many people have followed you that you didn't follow them to kind of meet them, and it allows you to really like immediately find what is the best way to grow your Twitter list. So you can actually find someone that you want to actually see. And so, for instance, I wanted to follow people who follow Google for entrepreneurs because I like Google and I like entrepreneurs. So I already did it today, but as you can see, I followed 315 people today, so I can't really click this now. But with a click of a button, after identifying who you want to follow, you could literally just press these green plus arrows, and in a matter of 2 minutes, you could follow 315 people that you really want to follow because they're following an individual you want. They're following an individual that you believe is in your target market. So for you, Wilton, you would probably want to follow a real estate company that has a lot of investors, a lot of crowdfunding investors, actually. So you might even want to follow, Fundrise, for instance. You could decide to follow Fundrise, who, presumably all the people who follow Fundrise are people that are interested in real estate crowdfunding. So that's the way that you could highly target a potential customer base for when you launch your own real estate crowdfunding campaign. Additionally, you could actually enter a hashtag and say, who are the people that use real estate as a hashtag? And so you click real estate, you click search, and same amazing functionality. You now have every single person who's ever tweeted the real estate hashtag, and you just click the green button, and bada bing, bada boom, you're following them. So it's an amazing strategy. And so here's another question. As you can see, non-followers. I actually follow these people today, so there's a reason why there's so many at the moment, because they haven't had a chance to follow me back yet. But the way you really grow your Twitter following is you follow people strategically who will follow you back, so that you could then breach one of the Twitter limitations, which is the 2,000 Twitter limitation. So if you followed 2,000 people, but less than 2,000 have followed you back, you won't be able to add any more people until you have 2,000 followers. So the way that you do that, Twitter is about reciprocation. So you would see this tool, you would see that all these people don't follow you, they're not reciprocating, which means they're basically just using your account for their own purposes without reciprocating. So what I would do, if I didn't just add these people today and I had 259 followers, in 2 minutes I would click this little red minus sign and I would unfollow 300 people and then just refollow a new 259 people. Does that make sense?
I like that.
Yeah, it makes it so easier. Like if you try to do this manually through Twitter, it would take you forever. It would take you 2 hours to do what you could do in 2 minutes. Now, this is also, the free version only allows you to have one account, and it only allows you to unfollow or follow 50 a day. So if you pay $10 a month, however, you can do an unlimited amount of people, as long as the limitation on Twitter allows you to follow those people. So I hope that helped you both. Let me just stop there for a minute and see if you guys have any questions. What did you guys think of that? Frank, what did you think? Have you ever used Just Unfollow?
Yeah, I've used it before. We have an account, or at least I have an account. Just added Crowdfunding, and I'm not sure if Cammy has been using it or not. Previous job that I worked for, we actually built our own software variant that essentially did the same thing as Unfollow did. So I was surprised that it turned out it wasn't them, because I expected them to have turned around and capitalized on it. But apparently someone beat them to the punch.
Absolutely. Wilton, what did you think of that?
It's great. I'm taking notes, and I'm working on working on these things right now as we speak. So it's good. Good.
I'm glad. There are these little things that you could do for free that a lot of people don't know about. There's other strategies that individuals who are experts in social media use that unfortunately is not free. and we were lucky enough to learn those strategies for our accounts too. But I figure if you don't have a budget to hire an expert, then at least you could do the most that you can on your own. So hopefully just Unfollow will help you on that. All right, I'm going to go back to the presentation then. Keep showing you guys some more items here that could help you. Let's see here. So then another great thing is Thunderclap. For individuals who are looking to do a campaign, and it doesn't have to even apply to crowdfunding. Thunderclap really can apply to anything. If you wanted to launch a brand, if you wanted to just get the word out about yourself and what you're doing, Thunderclap is a crowd sharing platform where anyone who enlists on a Thunderclap ultimately says that I give the person who created this Thunderclap, I give them implicit permission to post one message on all of my social media networks that the person who created it allows me to do. So let me just show you. That was actually a bad explanation. You're probably thinking, what the hell did this guy just say? Let me show you. This is my friends from headfunder.com. They're one of our sponsors, and they actually used this to launch their crowdfunding platform to the world. They recently started their crowdfunding platform on April 30th, and so a month before their anticipated launch date on April 1st, they said, I want to create a Thunderclap, and I want to create this Thunderclap so that the world can hear about headfunder.com. So the message that they sent was, Headfunder is a social crowdfunding community determined to give back to the world and better the future, #Headfunder. Then they put a link to their website, Headfunder. And so this message, what I did and what 282 other people did, if you see up here it says supporters. Their goal was only to get 100 supporters, but within the month they got 282 people to click on this link and say, I allow you to send your message that you're showing me right here to my Facebook account, to my Twitter account, and to my Tumblr account just once on April 30th. And on April 30th, this message went out across social media on 282 separate individuals' accounts. The total reach of that one message on that one day was 12 million people saw it. That is ridiculously powerful.
Wait a minute, back up. Wait a minute. Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So they sent to 282 people and their reach was 12 million?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the message that you see here was sent out as if these 282 people tweeted it themselves, but it was just an automated tweet after they gave this company permission to send it out.
Right.
So you as Hawthorne REIC, you as that individual would have tweeted this message out as if you posted it, but you didn't have to manually post it. You just gave permission for this message to go out on your social media channel.
Right.
And so that's the power of having people with many different accounts help you reach broader audience, because 282 people reached 12 million people. It's pretty crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, you just blew my mind, but I understand how it works. I see it.
Yeah, so I mean, the website is thunderclap.it, and specifically speaking, anyone on the show right now, or anyone that's watching in the audience, if you send us an email requesting this presentation, I'd be happy to give it to you so that you don't have to 100% take all the notes. Our email, well, actually, you can go to the website and fill out a contact form. If you go to realitycrowdtv.com and fill out a contact form, I will give you this whole presentation if you're interested in it, and I'd be happy to just chat with you and see if you want to come on the show next week. So that's Thunderclap. So now we go to kind of assigning a crowdfunding team certain tasks. So as I mentioned, really the sixth stage of the 9 stages of crowdfunding is networking and team building. And if you're going to assign tasks related to social media, this is a general job description, so to speak, of what someone in social media needs to do. You have the people who physically create the content. You have the people who really handle that social media dashboard that I mentioned, the Hootsuite account. You have people who are really engagement specialists, meaning, you know, after you schedule content, these people are just going on Twitter and, you know, checking out the keywords that apply to your company, and they're trying to find people who'd be interesting to engage with, meaning to actually talk to, have a conversation, so that they can get your company on the other person's map. And then, of course, you have the people who follow you, your supporters, your fan, and the crowd. The beautiful thing about crowdfunding is it's all about collaboration. So as you incorporate your business on social media, you want to be keenly aware of people that might want to become a brand ambassador. How do they become a brand ambassador? Through reciprocation. You do something for me, I'll do something for you. I like what you're doing, you like what I'm doing. Let's retweet once in a while. Let's make sure that we have conversations. Let's since we both have mutual missions, let's work together to get both of our missions into the world stage, not just one person dominating another. So that's what I love about crowdfunding and social media. It's really an opportunity to make these strategic alliances and partnerships with people that you've never even met before. But you definitely can do it. I mean, Frank is a perfect example. Frank and I, you know, when he retweets something and he mentions me on Twitter, I automatically retweet it. When I send something and I mention him on Twitter, he automatically retweets it as well. It's just kind of an unwritten rule, because we like each other and we like our businesses and we like our missions, that we are now strategic partners. So that's really how you do it. And Frank and I met down in Jacksonville. I live in Connecticut. We met in person, but we were communicating before then as well. And it's just, you know, it's funny how a relationship starts on social media and then you know, it just continues to evolve from there. So the next few slides I'm going to go through rather quickly, because they're almost all the same, except on different platforms. So these pages, if anyone would like to actually receive this information after filling out the contact form on realitycrowdtv.com, this should kind of prove as like a benchmark for you. You know, you want to aim to get 100+ people who follow you per day. You want to make sure you're highly targeted in your outreach. You want to make sure that if you're in real estate, you're communicating to real estate people. You want to make sure that you're not always posting about real estate either. For instance, like sometimes you might just want to have a conversation with an influencer about a show that has nothing to do with your business or anything of that matter. And when that's the case, what you're doing is you're injecting personality into your brand, because you as an individual, Wilton, might enjoy, you know, what's a popular TV show that let's say Shark Tank, right? Right. You might enjoy Shark Tank, and you might go and see someone talking about it who has a ton of contacts, and you say, hey, I love that episode too. I love that little gadget that guy showed. The sharks were assholes like usual. You know, right. Whatever the case may be. And that right there is how you become engaging and you build a following. So really, one of the unique parts of Twitter is what's known as a Twitter chat, and I want to just show you guys an example of what a Twitter chat is, because I think it'll be eye-opening. One of the most important ones is called Media Chat, and Media Chat is where brands go to really launch their companies. And what a media chat is, it's just a hashtag, but it's not. It's much more than a hashtag. The media chat hashtag is also a weekly event. So if you go to the media chat account here, it says media chat is a weekly Twitter chat every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, featuring guests on social and online media, new applications, and anything media related, hosted by the founder, Kilby, and they have a private group for anyone who wants to engage with them. So it's a really cool process here, because Media Chat allows for millions of impressions to happen during the hour of time that it actually takes every week. So it looks like we got another guest. Let me just say hello. Is this hello, sir? Your name is that Harry?
Yeah, this is Harry.
Hey, Harry, how are you?
All right, how you doing?
Doing really, really good. Everyone, just so you know, Harry Graves, I met Harry at One Spark down in Jacksonville. So Frank, Harry Graves is from Jacksonville too. So Frank is, yeah, so we got 2 people from Jacksonville, which is awesome.
Wait a minute. Both of you guys are from Jacksonville?
Apparently.
Yes.
Hey, I grew up in Orlando.
Sorry to hear
Down there.
that.
What a small world. Apparently people from Florida like this show more than other places.
Right.
Yeah, so I met Harry because we were there at One Spark actually for Reality Crowd TV. We were one of the contestants. And if you haven't heard of One Spark, it's the world's crowdfunding festival where dollars are donated in exchange for votes. So if you go to, I believe it's b1spark.com, you can get more information. It happens every year in Jacksonville. And in fact, this year they're actually going to Berlin in Germany, so they're going global. But Harry and I met because he heard what was going on there. We spoke for a moment, and he said that he has this great idea that he'd like to use crowdfunding for. So, Harry, if you could please just introduce yourself personally and then give us a little glimmer of what your idea is. You don't have to share everything about it, but just kind of give us a general idea so that the audience knows what you're working on.
Okay, my name is Harry Graves. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm starting a company called UCT, Universal Created Tires. What my tires do, we're working with the sheriff department right now to make the tread glow in the dark. We also gonna make some NBA tire, NFL tires, Daytona tires, Hello Kitty tires. You can get anybody you want. You can have anybody you want on your NBA tires. You want LeBron James slamming on Kobe Bryant, we're gonna make them. And they also glow in the dark. We're gonna personalize your tire. We also want to get it with Walmart, where they can get their logos on the side of their tires. We do a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was inspired, by your personal story too, and the fact that your idea is so amazing. I mean, vanity tires essentially. How amazing of an idea is that? Instead of your just boring black tires, Harry Graves is going to revolutionize the tire industry. You could put whatever you want on your tires.
Any color, anybody. Logos. We're gonna be doing Section 11 tires, fire department tires, for the EMT safety tires. That's really what I'm really out.
I love it. I think it's a very novel idea, and I'm surprised that no one had thought of it previously, but I'm glad that you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just before we go on, I just want to actually, we do have a question. We have Stephen Caggiano, who is an amazing person. We work with Stephen, a great guy. And Stephen asked, how important is off-topic conversation to your success on Twitter? I would say that off-topic conversation is extremely important on Twitter. If you're trying to crowdfund, for instance, and you're trying to sell a tire, you don't just want to talk about tires the whole time, because ultimately people wouldn't really care about a tire, right? But for you, Harry, you might want to talk about, like you said, Hello Kitty. To say, check it out, Hello Kitty. I love that. I actually don't even know what Hello Kitty is. But, yeah, I don't even know what that is. I mean, I've heard of it. I just never looked into it. And
Yeah, missed anything.
Good. And so, off-topic conversation is a way to expand your reach to a broader audience who, if they find what you say is interesting, if they find what the brand engaging, the key to Twitter is be engaging, be interesting, and if someone really wants to, understand who is this interesting person, they just look at your profile, and of course everyone has the opportunity to post a link on your profile. So at that stage in the game, the link is posted, and bada bing, bada boom, it's you now have more people watching.
Right.
And there's a very big key word in what you call this. This is a social media platform. People like to socialize. So if it's all business, there's no way that they can relate. People are always trying to relate to people.
Absolutely. And Harry, I just have a question for you. I know I saw that you were calling, but I couldn't answer the phone because I'm on the show, so I couldn't answer the phone. But I want to ask you a question. what do you want to learn from this crowdfunding office hours? Like, were you watching the show before joining yourself?
No, not really. I kept on hearing about it. I spoke to you a couple times, but there's a couple people down here that actually do watch this show.
Okay.
They read up on it and everything.
Cool. And what do you want to learn out of what we're doing right now? Because this is called crowdfunding office hours. So what do you want to learn in regards to your own endeavors to crowdfund?
I want to learn everything I can learn.
Beautiful.
I'm a beginner, so I can't pick nothing. I just want to learn everything y'all got to teach me.
Beautiful. Well, we've been actually going through a presentation on social media. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on that, but we'll get to perhaps another presentation in a moment too. But if you have any questions, Harry, in the meantime, just feel free to just shout out. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen again and see what we got here. All right, so as I mentioned, I'd be happy to send this presentation out to people. We have what your Twitter goal should be. Google Plus. If you have the time to really develop Google Plus, and if you have the time to actually create a Google Hangout show similar to what we're doing, I know of a lot of people who are asking for help for us to create shows for them. Because they see how powerful a Google Hangout show is. So if that's part of potentially where your social media strategy, for me, Google Plus, if you don't have a Hangout on Google Plus, or at least something unique to offer, it severely limits a lot of your viewership. So I recommend people build up shows if they have the time to keep it up. It takes a lot of work, but it's worth it if you put the work in.
Right.
Facebook. Really, the thing about Facebook is fan pages and groups. I will tell you this. I personally am not a huge fan of Facebook, only because you have to pay to play on that platform. It's they've gone away from they've gone away from organic growth, so to speak, and really the only way to really get a lot of followers is to have a budget and pay about $10 a day on Facebook. There are ways to grow it organically, but it just takes a lot more effort than the other platforms to actually build engagement. LinkedIn, I can't say enough about, and I actually have to update this this spreadsheet. The power of LinkedIn is groups, but additionally, the power in LinkedIn now is blogging. A lot of people are getting the opportunity to actually write out blogs through the LinkedIn platform. That used to only be available for individuals that were influencers, but they just released it out, and I think they're doing it on a regular basis. They released it out to the general population. I'm trying to find where the Internet Explorer is, and I don't see it. I want to show you an example of LinkedIn blogging, because it does have a huge opportunity to get your reach really far. So if I go to my profile, I'll just show you one of my more popular blogs here. This one, for instance, was a blog that I posted on June 13th, which was a little bit over a week ago. It got 21 likes, 8 comments. It was seen by over 1,000 people, and it got shared, all over the place at a pretty good rate. So for me, LinkedIn blogs is probably one of the most powerful tools that I have to really promote whatever interest that I'm into, and if you really leverage the power of LinkedIn, over time I've grown to close to 10,000 followers. So it's a great platform to use to really build relationships. Most people, tell me, oh well, LinkedIn sucks. I never do business through LinkedIn. You're not using it properly, because I'm meeting so many important people through LinkedIn that it's not even funny. So you just got to be engaging, just like in any other platform. And then this is just some other websites that you might consider looking into, depending on what you're doing. So one of the things that is important is the use of a hashtag. And I'm going to go through a demonstration in a moment, but out of the 3 of you gentlemen, do you guys all know what a hashtag is?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to just show, just in case, I'm going to just show another example as well. of what a hashtag is, because I think it's important for everyone to make sure that you know. So in crowdfunding, one of the most popular hashtags, of course, is hashtag crowdfunding. So when you go to Twitter and you search for hashtag crowdfunding, you are showing every single opportunity where any individual used that word in the tweet that they just posted. So for example, we actually have one of the top tweets here. Thank you for everyone who did retweet this tweet. But basically this shows that this person used the word crowdfunding. So you could look down and find all the other people who are also interested in crowdfunding, and you could either favorite them just to kind of acknowledge that you saw it. You could retweet them, which is really sharing their message, or you can reply and say say something interesting about what they said. So who's who of crowdfunding industry professionals? We actually were added just I think it was today. We were added to their list. So I'm going to say thank you very much for adding TV and our founder at Average Joe VC to your list of crowdfunding professionals, right? To your list of crowdfunding professionals. And I guarantee you that because I mentioned them and I said thank you, I was just being, saying something nice about them, you will see that, and this was through Jessica's account, you will see that they're probably going to either favorite or retweet what Jessica said. And so that right there is how you build relationships. You rarely want to talk about yourself, which is counterintuitive, because your long-term goal is, can I actually get someone to fund my project, right? But the real opportunity here is give. Just give, be engaging, show the world all the progress you're making without the money that you're raising through crowdfunding first. Show that you've gone as far as you could. You're an authentic person. You love what you do. You have a passion, but don't make it about you until the time comes where you need to make it about you. You always make it about other people before you really ask for anything. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I mean, so for instance, with you, Harry, when you begin your social media accounts, you're probably going to want to, reach out to perhaps some celebrities who might want, you might want to flatter a celebrity to say, hey, LeBron, how would you like your face on a tire slamming over, Kobe Bryant, if he responds to you, then you're the man, by the way, because he probably has so many people who reach out to him on a daily basis. But you never know, reach out to people, have conversations, and just be engaging, and these people will want to help you. All right, so we'll continue on, unless you guys have any questions at the moment. Nope.
Right.
Okay, cool. Keep moving forward here. And so the hashtag is important. You're going to want to identify for the project that you're in what your relevant hashtag is. So for you, Wilton, the real estate, hashtag real estate's going to be big. Hashtag crowdfunding is going to be big. You might want to think like hashtag investor. Whatever your target audience is, you want to create hashtags and keywords that would increase the likelihood that those people would see you. Additionally, for you, Harry, you would want to have hashtags relating to tires, hashtags related to, I mean, you might want to mix like tires and Hello Kitty, or tires and NBA, tires and NASCAR, because your tires are really applicable to any industry. So like any kind of topic can be incorporated into your main hashtag. So you want to figure out a way to say, all right, so there's a main hashtag which is tires, but technically I can use any hashtag that could potentially be on the tires that you create. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, yep. And then another thing to do in certain cases is you might want to create a unique hashtag that you house all of your unique messages in. So, I believe you said, Harry, your company is UCT. You might want to add just a unique hashtag to say hashtag UTC or UCT.
Right.
Same with you, Wilton. You might want to create a unique hashtag. The shorter the better, because you don't want to take up too much space with a hashtag. So really the next step is now that you have all these accounts set up, now that you have all your tools and you have your basic strategy, the why should people care, the who are the people that care, and then the where do they congregate, this is then the next piece of this is build your crowd 3 to 6 months before you ever launch a crowdfunding campaign. One of the most frustrating things for people is, not seeing traction on their crowdfunding campaign, and unfortunately this is kind of the current statistic out there. 43% of people currently, and I'm using Kickstarter because they have the best analytics at this point, 43% of people on Kickstarter succeed, but that was up from a much higher amount 3 years ago. It used to be much higher, but now that crowdfunding is becoming more popular with every passing day, it keeps going down, and the reason is because they hear of crowdfunding, they have a great idea, and a week later they're launching their campaigns without any kind of preparation at all, and they're wondering why the internet angels are not coming down to save them. And to me that's really sad, because these are people who have dreams, and because of their lack of awareness and knowledge of really what it takes to actually execute this strategy, they might be thinking to themselves, you know what, crowdfunding is bullshit. Crowdfunding doesn't work. I tried it, and no one donated anything to me. And that's sad to me, because a lot of people could potentially be just, leaving the dream they once had for the business or artistic endeavor or whatever the case may be. What we're trying to do here, with Reality Crowd TV and through this program is really, inform people that it takes 3 to 6 months of pre-planning and execution before you ever press the button to build enough momentum in order to reach this critical milestone, which is really the 30% of funding within the first week of your campaign. So just to kind of reiterate, the whole point of pre-planning is to get on the front page of whatever crowdfunding website that you're using. Kickstarter and Indiegogo have so much web traffic, but there's thousands of projects that are being listed every time. Every day there's thousands of projects that are currently running on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So they don't do anything to promote you, and you don't get the benefit of their web traffic until you get to the front page of their platform. How do you get to the front page of their platform? The likelihood that you'll be boosted as a staff pick or be put on the front page is highly dependent on how much money you raise in the first week of your crowdfunding campaign. And experts out there are saying 30% is the magic number. When you hit that 30%, that is coming from your traditional network just as much as your social network. In fact, I would say your friends, family, and acquaintances, the people that you know personally, you are going to want to line up their pledges and rev up your crowd so that whenever you launch your campaign 3 to 6 months from now, that they're the ones who are supporting you in that first week, because you want to hit that amazing number of 30%, so that then you do get the benefit of the web traffic. So I just said a lot there. I'm actually going to open it up for questions, because you guys are probably thinking, that's a lot to take in. What did you kind of understand what I said about that?
Yeah, I get it. It's basically like doing an open house. You got to do your plan. You have to have everything together. And once the open house hits, you want to make sure everyone is there. You want to make sure other investors are there. You want to make sure you have real estate agents there. You want to make sure you have buyers there. And if you do all the planning, prior planning prevents a pitiful poor performance. So that's the 7 Ps. So you make sure you have those things done. And once it launches, and you can have a lot of traffic, and you get multiple offers within the first couple of days, you're pretty good. So it's the same concept.
Yeah, and actually, Wilton, your experience as a project manager is going to serve you well. Essentially, that's what you're doing is project management. You have to treat it as a project to be executed and going through certain milestones to really get successful. So I hope that rings a bell to you, because as a project manager, you would be good at this.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And Harry, how about you? What do you think of all that?
I think it's a real good concept that you brought out. Me, my business, I treat it like a little baby. I got to be there. I got to raise it. It's just in the fetus right now. I got to hold on to it. You know, sometimes I make phone calls. I get slaps in the face. That's why I'm trying to join crowdfunding. Just this little bit of time I spend with y'all, I'm learning a lot. I learned so far that instead of speaking about the tires, I got to let the people really know who I am as a general person. I got to connect, socialize on the web. And Mr. Wilson, you spoke real good talk. You know, I enjoy this program right here because I'm really taking it in. Really, I have my notes right here, but I really couldn't get situated the way I wanted to get situated. But I like that because a lot of people they'll jump right into a business, and they don't have the peoples already there, you know, before they jumped into business. But what you're teaching is go ahead on out and socialize for when you want to jump in your business 3 to 6 months later on down the line. You got your fan base. You got your peoples that you're being searching for. They there with you. That's all I want to say. I'm just taking everything in.
You hit it right on the head. I mean, you know, and this is why we're so inspired by crowdfunding. Like, you know, Reality Crowd TV, we personally believe that anyone who's about to crowdfund can have their own reality TV show, really. I mean, the steps that you're going to have to go through over this process of 3 to 6 months, you know, that is worth showing. That is worth showing the trials and tribulations that every entrepreneur is going to have to go through to actually raise the money. And I'll say this, I don't care if you're an artist, I don't care if you're a filmmaker, I don't care if you're someone with a creative endeavor. This is not, you know, you're technically an entrepreneur when you ask for money. When you're raising capital, you have to be entrepreneurial no matter what your ultimate decision is, right?
Right.
There has to be that element of entrepreneurship there, because you're going to have to learn new skills that are going to expand you as a person. I mean, right now I'm sharing with you social media. You guys may not be that great at social media yet, so you'll have to expand the person you are to then be able to utilize this tool, which is crucial for crowdfunding. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
In fact, you guys are probably going to like the journey just as much as reaching your goals too. I find that's great.
The journey is the most important part. You know, I think that sometimes we focus in on the goal, but we really have to just embrace the journey. And you know, I love adventure. So, you know, this is really something new, and I'm stepping out of my comfort zone because I'm not really a per se salesperson, marketer. I enjoy meeting people and networking, but I'm not a real big social media person. I get on every once in a while, you know, I do whatever, but now I'm going to really have to step outside my comfort zone and really apply this and really work hard at it. And the more you do it, then the more you'll enjoy it and embrace it. So this is really going to stretch me.
Awesome. I love to hear that. I love to hear that because you're going to be meeting so many different people. You know, you don't have to meet people face to face initially, and really, social media, you can meet people from all over the world. You know, doesn't have to be in the U.S. I mean, you could technically get someone who's interested in investing outside of the U.S. as well, which is crazy.
Right.
I think we're almost done with the presentation. Let me just kind of move on here, just so we can get through it, and then we can just open it up for more questions. So. One way to measure, you know, and target people on social media is to go to this website and create an account called Clout. So Clout.com, is a rating agency for social media influence. So you could look at individuals, and you could look them up on Cloud. And for instance, Reality Crowd TV, I have a Cloud account. My Cloud score is 66, and I believe the total highest Cloud score you can have is around 80. So I started out at 0, and over 8 months, or however long I've been using this account, I'm up to 66. So you could just find someone in your target market that you want to engage with, and look them up on Klout.com, Klout.com, and you could say, okay, this guy is a major influencer. I'm going to build a relationship with him because strategically speaking, if we can cross promote each other, then I'm getting more eyes for my endeavor as well. So that's just another tool for you to use. Engagement. So this is the matter of, don't always talk about real estate, or don't always talk about tires. Find a way to just create engaging content that is applicable to anyone. And so here's one of the tweets that we had that we thought, a friend of ours was the one who really put this together for us, Stephen Caggiano. And this is a tweet that had nothing to do with what we did, but it's just a pretty funny photo and a pretty funny quote. What it says was, sometimes I see this photo and I admire the self-control of those dogs. Other times I admire the courage of the cat. And this post had nothing to do with crowdfunding, but it got 264 retweets and 130 favorites. So what does that mean, a retweet? A retweet means that whenever someone decides to retweet it, this exact same tweet, along with the picture and along with my name, my handle, Reality Crowd TV, was replicated on their Twitter account as if I had posted it myself. And so this happened 264 times, that this same tweet was replicated on someone else's Twitter page. And so the strategy here was, let's make this really super engaging and viral, and then the people will be like, oh, I loved what this guy said. This is kind of a funny quote, cool picture, I enjoyed it. Who is Reality Crowd TV? So they'll click on my handle, okay, Reality Crowd TV, and I put a nice little description. Creating a grassroots reality TV show around the crowdfunding movement. We are crowdfunding our show shortly. Contact us, and bam, there's the link to my website. So the strategy there was, be engaging so that people will want to come and say, who is this guy? Make sense?
Right.
Perfect. And then I'll leave you with this quote. I think this is the end. If someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure if you could do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. Where Richard Branson is going with this quote is really eliminate the fear. There's some fears that are legitimate, but the majority of fears, especially the self-doubt about ourselves, is often just a lie that unfortunately creeps into our minds from time to time. Like, we all have these negative feelings sometimes about ourselves, that we're not smart enough, we're not, I didn't get this type of, I didn't have this upbringing, I didn't have this growing up, whatever the case may be. We tell ourselves that we can't have things because we're afraid of taking the leap. And this quote is something I turn to often, because ultimately, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure if you could do it, say yes and learn how to do it later. I think it's just a great message. And so I'll end the slideshow here. We'll head back to the Hangout. So yes, so now any particular questions, gentlemen, just about anything, because that was focused on social media, but do you have any more specific questions, such as how do I start, or whatever is on your mind? Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, that's one of the questions I'm waiting to ask. How do I start?
Okay, great. So if you're at square one, which you're not totally at square one because you have this idea, but the first stage of the 9 stages is your business plan. So do you have a clearly written business plan?
I have a business plan. I did my business plans in 90 days, 6 months, 8 months to 20 year, 18 months, 24 months, where I want to be at in those time frames.
Okay, great. And just so you know too, when I say your business plan, and this is what you did, but just for the audience's benefit, your business plan is how your company is going to be before, during, and after your crowdfunding campaign. In other words, the business plan doesn't necessarily have to do with your crowdfunding campaign strategy. That's a separate step. Your business plan is, what is my overall business that I'm trying to raise money for, and how am I going to run that business into the future? Crowdfunding for you is going to be a tool to get your business started, but the business plan is talking about not only am I going to use crowdfunding as my tactic to raise capital, but like your business plan is really like putting all your ducks in a row. Like, how am I going to sell my product? How am I going to distribute it? What does it cost to make? So is that the type of business plan that you have currently?
Right. I take classes. I go to like SBA classes, Small Business Association classes, and that's one of the main thing we target, how to build a business plan. But for my idea that I came up with, it's called a novelty, because it's a new idea, new concept. So we was kind of having problems with how much one tire gonna cost, how much 2 tires gonna cost, because nobody never did it before. So we did about 2 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so for you, it seems like your business plan's in order. And Wilton, you already shared with us that your business plan is in order too, right?
Yes. I have a business plan, and actually I've distributed my business plan to several different people. Just so they can review it, share it with a couple of people on the board as well. And so yes, I have a pretty strong business plan. But business plans is an iterative document. It can change. Something happens, I see something, and I kind of note that, and I go to my business plan and I add it in, or make a correction, or amend it in some way.
Absolutely, and in fact, you made a good point. Sometimes what might be better at first, because business plan is at a point in time, as you mentioned, some people are advocating what is known as a business model, which is more so like the shortest way to get from start to sale. And when you focus on that, what is the shortest way to go from start to sale, and you go through the process to make just one sale of whatever it is. If you're an artist, it's a sale of a painting. If you're a real estate guy, it's the sale of an investor who invests. For you, Harry, it's someone who purchases a tire. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be good enough initially to enjoy the learning that you're going to get from starting here and ending at your goal, which is the sale. Does that make sense?
Make a lot of sense.
I mean, that could be a one-page document to say, okay, so here's my product, here's my market, here's where they hang out, this is how I'm going to reach them. When they call me, this is what I'm going to say to them. After we do that, I'm going to send them a PayPal invoice, and then bada bing, bada boom, I just got a sale.
Right.
It's not going to be that easy, but
right.
But ultimately, and this is really not that doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with crowdfunding, but that's just business in general. Is just find a way to try to get to the one sale as quick as you can, and that's all you should focus on. So then step 2 is your intellectual property. And Wilton, for your intellectual property, I'm not sure if there's anything that you have that's necessarily needs intellectual property, except for setting up a corporation and maybe getting a trademark and a logo. But I don't think you have any proprietary technology. Is that correct?
I don't have any proprietary technology. No, none whatsoever.
Okay, so for you, it's really just incorporating, because if you want to raise capital through crowdfunding, you will have to incorporate. You have to be a C corporation. So I'm not sure if you knew that, but the only way the current laws are is that you have to be a C corp to raise capital through crowdfunding.
So not an S corp. I'm incorporated as an S corp right now, so I actually have to have a C corp.
I believe that's the case. I would double check with an accountant or an attorney first,
Okay.
But from what I understand of the rules and regulations, it's usually a C corp if you're going to do, the crowdfunding through the Jobs Act. So just double check though, because if you're going through Title II, which is the the accredited investor crowdfunding, maybe that you might not need a C corp, but I know for Title III, you will need a C corp no matter what.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's something you might want to look into for sure. And then Harry, in your instance, for your idea, you might have something that you want that would require intellectual property. Have you gone through that process yet?
Well, I got an attorney. She looks into all that. I'm just got my EIN number incorporated and everything. But
Wonderful. So it sounds like you got protected, but I'm going to introduce you to karmacrowd.com. I work with them. They're a crowdfunding portal that helps people, with no upfront cost for intellectual property protection. So they might, they'll take it out of the amount that you raise on the back end. But I think I'd like you to shoot me an email and request a couple of forms that they have for you to fill out. Because I just want to make sure that everything's all good with you.
Okay. Thank you.
That'd be good. You're welcome. So all right. So then you go through intellectual property. Then your next step is we went through social media. Begin building that crowd 3 to 6 months. Well, what? Actually, let me head back to the business plan for a second. Especially for you, Wilton, because this is really more for equity crowdfunding, but it could also help you, Harry, really put everything in an organized place. I want to share with you a tool that is one of our sponsors. This is a crowdfunding roadmap with Ruth Hedges, and this tool is really a business planning tool that essentially acts as a planning tool for you to really understand kind of what the process is when you're putting together this business plan. And the great thing about it is it mirrors the Securities and Exchange Commission regulations, so that the planning tool is essentially having you fill out questions that the SEC might ask you. So Wilton, for you, if you have to be in compliance with that, which I believe you will, this would be a great tool for you.
Great. So
and it has a 7-day free trial without having to give any kind of credit card information. I already purchased it for myself because I use it as kind of like a planning tool for me. So I'll just quickly go through a brief demo here. Do you guys see everything here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start with your executive summary page, which really helps you determine what your elevator pitch is, and you add all your links, and it just helps you organize exactly what you need for an executive summary. But the really important piece of this is when you get into the business plan section. This is like an automated system as a placeholder where you would fill in this information. So when you highlight this, this is the business description tab. You have, company offerings. You have all these things you need to fill out. So you just click on one of these sections, and suddenly of all the different things that you're going to have to think about if you are going to raise capital, not only through crowdfunding. This could be raising it through the SBA, it could be through a bank, but it just has a nice user interface where anything you need to plan will help you keep it in mind. So, friends, let me just click on this target market and distribution and see where it takes us. So target market. So it says describe the company's target market, end users, and customers. As I mentioned to you, this is really the 3 questions: the why, who, where. Actually, it's the why and who, and then here is the where. Describe the distribution channel to reach the target markets for the company's products and services. So it basically takes you through a series of tabs and questions for you to really get your plan in order, and it helps you just think about things that you might not have thought about previously. Would something like this be valuable for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a neat tool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's something that could really keep you. I mean, for me, because I use this as a demo for people, I don't necessarily put all my personal information in here. That's why it's not filled out. Because ultimately, there's some IP here that I would rather not disclose on a live hangout. But you know, this is definitely good for anyone who's really looking to have this planning tool. So if you're crowdfunding, this is the pretty cool part, the task and action plan too. Task and action plan really just helps you plan your pre-launch. As I mentioned, the 3 to 6 month period, pre-launch, make sure you're investment ready. So this is equity stuff up here. This is, you know, build up your social media network, set up a Twitter account, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn. It kind of tells you step by step what you should do. So if you start with set up a Twitter account, you'll use this tab to, you know, say, okay, so I just set up my account. My handle is Reality Crowd TV. My password is, I'm not going to tell you at this very moment. But, you know, you set up all the stuff that you want to put in there as a placeholder. And so now, if you do have a team of people that you're working with, you now can share this with them so that everyone's on the same page as to, you know, you're taking care of Facebook, go on this tool right now, log in, and you'll see all my credentials. You'll see what the password is. You know, create your message. You know, team, you know, this is our message. Our mission is, if you use this tool as a way to organize your campaign and share it among multiple team members, you'll have all your people working in one central place, and it's a really good way to organize your whole thing. So, you know, there's a lot more I can go through here. I just wanted to show you a brief demo of that, because I think for a lot of people, especially if you're really trying to put together a business, it would really help you. And as far as you guys looking into it, if you were to go back to the event page, you could see one of our sponsors is Ruth Hedges from Crowdfunding Roadmap, and there's a link right there that you can just click on that link and you can get your 7-day free trial.
Is there a monthly subscription to that?
There would be an annual fee of just $99, so it's actually well worth it. It's only $99 a year, so there is an annual fee on that. Another thing where you could start too, eventually I'd like to create a similar program where, you know, this office hours, I want to keep it going for forever. Actually, I'd like to keep this as a normal recurring event. But there's some people who actually created actual like programs. Of course, there's a fee associated with it, but just to give you another tool that you know, from another one of our sponsors, in case you wanted to look into it. These guys are a success with crowdfunding, and they could be a good tool for you too, because, and again, this is more toward equity crowdfunding again, Wilton. So you might want to look into that more so, but it really is for everyone if you want a very basic understanding. And the first class is Keys to Successful Crowdfunding, and I'll just play this video briefly just to show you how it works. But these two gentlemen is Sherwood Neese and Jason Best. These guys are the ones who were responsible for bringing the equity crowdfunding legislation to Congress. So these guys know their stuff. They've created a quality program, and they split it up into 6 lessons. What is the investing? What type of crowdfunding is right for you? Preparing for liftoff, meaning that 3 to 6 month time frame. Running your campaign, what's required. Begin with the end in mind. And then how much money do you need? So, and they also have all these checklists of things that would help you organize your campaign as well. So this could be a good product for both of you. But let me just play the first like couple minutes here just to kind of give you an idea of how this is organized. And gentlemen, can you just let me know if you can't hear them speaking, then shout out. If you hear them speaking, then say nothing. I'm just going to play this video real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here we go.
Welcome on board. We're glad to have you with us. Well, I guess the most logical place for us to start is what is crowdfunding and what's the difference between crowdfunding and crowdfund investing. We're going to try and make this as easy and simple for you to understand so that you can get started and know everything that you need to know. Right off the bat, there's one thing that's similar between both of them. Crowdfunding is the ability for you to go out and raise a large amount of money from many small investments. So it's a large group of people putting small dollar amounts into an idea or a business.
Crowdfunding's been around for a very long time, hundreds of years in fact. It's the oldest way of raising money. It's raising money for your friends and family. What's new is the ability to do it with debt and equity, securities, and also the ability to use the social web. Now with the web, we've got the opportunity to raise money from larger groups of people in a more transparent, scalable, and faster way. One of the examples of crowdfunding from the past that a lot of people don't know about is the Statue of Liberty. The statue itself came from France, but it had nothing to stand on when it arrived. And so the people of America came together and raised money from thousands of contributors across the country, who each received a miniature Statue of Liberty for contributing to the construction costs of the base of the statue.
So I'm sure many of you maybe didn't even know that, but the Statue of Liberty was actually crowdfunded. So it's kind of weird that, you know, there was no internet to do it, but basically France gave the gift to America, and then the newspapers all said, if you guys can all, you know, if all the Americans can contribute towards this, you know, you'll get a mini Statue of Liberty as your reward for contributing. So it really is crowdfunding if you think about it. So that video is just an introductory video, but they go through every lesson in detail. And so if you like the way that they spoke in that clear manner and you think it would be engaging, that's something that is also a sponsor. You could go to the link directly on the event page of the Hangout and click that link, and if you're interested, you could go ahead and use it. Any other questions?
I think I'm tapped out. I think I'm tapped out of questions.
I am too. Yeah.
Well, what do you think would be for me? Which one of those programs would be better for me to jump on real quick?
Okay, so for you, because I mean, to tell you the truth, before you buy a business planning tool, you might want to learn about crowdfunding better in general, right?
Right.
That second program for me is how I kind of learned initially what I know. I mean, I took it about 6 months ago, so I've done a lot of other things to bring my knowledge up since then. But as a core knowledge of how to crowdfund, I would recommend you both start with that tool. And then as soon as you guys determine, okay, now I know the extent of what this is going to require of me, now I might go and say I need this planning tool because this is going to be now, you know, my step-by-step plan to execute the strategy. So to me, if you don't feel comfortable as to what the whole process is, that class would be the best thing to start with. And then, of course, as you build out your campaign, I'm going to be doing this weekly crowdfunding office hours for the foreseeable future, and you guys are both welcome to come every weekend if you want, assuming there's space available. You know, in these Hangouts, there's a maximum of 10 people who can go each week, including myself, so we only have 3 people right now, but technically, I'm hoping that this whole crowdfunding office hours goes viral or people start to come and watch it more, and so we might have a full house, but the beauty of a full house is you could benefit from the questions that other people ask. You know, so to answer your question, I'm sorry, Harry. I always like give a long-winded response. You should go with success with crowdfunding as your first step toward learning more about crowdfunding.
Okay.
And same with you, Wilton. I would say the same thing for you,
Okay.
because you also have your business plan right now. You would use the business planning tool as more of a way to go step by step, but for you especially, Wilton, and maybe for you, Harry, you might decide to go equity crowdfunding potentially as well. You know, since you want to do equity crowdfunding, these guys are responsible for the bill. There's no greater authority than Crowdfund Capital Advisors and Success with Crowdfunding. So if you take this, suddenly, you know, Wilton, you become the expert and you're educating people on how to do this, you know?
Right. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking, I mean, Harry, yeah, this is going to be good because since you're starting the business with the tires, I mean, equity would be great for you. I mean, you know, so it seems as if, you know, we're on that same track, basically.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so we'll see. I would recommend that to start. But of course, as I mentioned, this is a free forum here where you guys can come back anytime you want. I'm always going to do this thing on a weekly basis where I'm just going to post the link in the event page so that anyone can join live, because I think that makes it more interesting too. I mean, hopefully we won't get jokers who just join and, like, you know, moon us or something. That would be terrible. But, you know, so that
it'll go viral.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope I didn't give anybody ideas, but you know, that would be bad. But, you know, either way, it's going to be a free forum for people to, like, come in and learn anything they got to learn.
Will you also have this? So for each show, will it be on your site as well, so we can go? It'll be recorded.
Yeah, it's actually on YouTube. As soon as we stop the broadcast, this is going to be recorded, so you can show it to your friends. You know, and say that, hey, this is where I was on Reality Crowd TV. You could use it in any way you want. And actually, again, there's a YouTube link that I could send you both as well. And do you guys mind if I just introduce each other? Like, I'll send an email out to both of you, and you'll have each other's emails.
Oh, cool. That'd be great.
Yeah, that way you never know what you guys might help each other out in one capacity or another. So.
No, that'd be cool. That'd be great.
Right. I like that.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm exhausted. I'm going to start to lose my voice.
Hey, thank you so much for the time, for the opportunity. This was, again, I can't say how great this is. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Wilden.
Me too. I really like it. I just got in a little late. You know, my business runs 7 days a week. I'm always nursing. Like Wilton said, every time my business plan continues to change. I'm always adding, I'm always taking away. And you know, they say all great minds think alike. And that's what I do. I'm always thinking. I'm working on some new Wi-Fi bracelet, lightweight, durable, rain resistant. You know, I'm always brainiacing. So it takes money to get these things. So that's why I'm glad you invited me to the show. I want to say thank you for that.
You're very welcome, Harry, and as I mentioned, you both are welcome anytime. I always end the show this way, so gentlemen, thank you so much, and until next time, dream it, believe it, achieve it.
Achieve it. All right, now.